Welcome back to Toffee TV. We've got Les in the studio. We're talking about all the transfer malarkey. We've already done that on transfer window final word. It wasn't not quite the final word because we're going to talk more.
It's more like transfer window the musical. There's a lot of singing. It's good. It's well worth it.
There was a lot of singing.
There was a lot of singing. Give us goals, but lassie, give us goals, but lassie. Just throwing it in.
Fabulous video.
It's like a teaser. Yeah.
Just throwing it in there.
Fabulous video.
Fabulous video, by the way. I don't know what to say. One thing that obviously come out of it was the whole Sissoko thing, which led to the Jim White conspiracy. Did he say it? Jim White had been feeding us these little blurbs that he'd been getting from Mr. Moshiri, how he was anxious for signings and how things would be done, and then on the transfer deadline day he basically said, probably should have this statement prepared but I haven't, basically said didn't really want Sissoko because James McCarthy's sound, he's one of us, he's family, just like Aidan McGeady's family, and Nias, and that, you know, we didn't want to sign him because we didn't want to see James.
We look after our own.
Apparently. Which
when he bought the club, I bought into a family.
Yes.
That's what he said. Which is all fine, well and good. And I did a video on the Daily basically what defines Everton family, you know, because James McCarthy, yeah, great Everton player, but then what does that make, as I just said, what does that make Aidan McGeady? Is he not family? So you can get rid of him? You bastard child? I don't know. You know, what is he? So I mean, the statement itself, I just thought the statement was not needed. It felt like someone who'd not really been done in not been part of the transfer thing before, and felt like sometimes these stories just go away on their own, they evaporate. But he helped continue the story, and I just thought that was really unnecessary.
It was pathetic, really. It was. There's no two ways about it. It was almost a bit like, yeah, well, I didn't want you anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was going to finish with you first, anyway. You know, it was just pathetic because obviously Sissoko had made this decision. Mm-hmm. Fair enough for the statement to indicate that Everton somehow pull the plug. We're pulling the plug on this deal, even though Sissoko's like, and I'm arse lad with me Tottenham shirt. Yeah. It was just totally, it was just unnecessary. And Farhad, if you watch these videos, which I know that people who are around you do, please don't ever speak to Jim White again with stuff like that. Only speak to him if you say, I'm about to smash Everton's transfer record in the next 15 minutes.
Or Natalie Sawyer.
I like Richard Keys.
It was just band time, Farhad.
It was so bad, the statement. I genuinely thought.
Baz thinks he knows my levels. He doesn't know my levels.
Not even. No one knows your levels.
I know your levels. I don't even think you know your levels. Les, please pull us out of this.
The statement was
that's what he said. But he said Jim.
Les,
the statement was so bad. I thought it was just one of those wind-ups that people cobble together. Because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And why he was channeling through Jim White, through the medium of White.
Jim White turned into Doris Stokes, turned into Derek Agora.
I'm getting.
Sam's telling me Farhad through them.
But that was the weird thing.
Mary, it's Dick. It's a real one.
Okay. But that was the mad thing. It's just like, well, why would he do that? Which makes you think, was it him, or was it someone at the club just trying to pull some sort of PR stunt which just backfired massively? I just don't know what to make of it.
The only when I looked at it, the only kind of thing I took out of it, but this doesn't even add up anyway, was James McCarthy part of
the deal?
Of Newcastle's deal?
Wants him,
but then it doesn't add up anyway because Sissoko didn't want to come here.
But the other side of it is James McCarthy wants to leave. Which is, you know, he's trying to get out the family as quick as he can. He's the Charles Manson family. He just wants out.
See, the problem with the James McCarthy thing is this is the first time in his Everton career he's really been up against not being first choice, being obviously, treated like the long lost son, which Martin has treated him like. All of a sudden he's got a couple of obstacles in his way, and that's it. His arse has gone and he wants out.
But that's a different subject. I mean, you can ask Roy Keane about that if you want. That's a different subject altogether.
Did he not start against West?
That was amazing. That was just the best. That was the best press conference ever. He was absolutely spot on. You should do your homework. No, but I think the bigger problem is how we conduct ourselves. The whole, and I said this the day I did a video on it. Why on earth are we going? Why on earth is our basically our owner going through Jim White? Now I know because
that plays into.
No, I know, and there's a lot.
But
the point. But I looked on the comments for that video and people were like, "You're a knobhead if you think he spoke to Jim White. You're a dickhead if you think this."
But he did speak.
But he did speak to Jim White, because I tell you what, Jim White's reputation is absolutely huge, and in the game, I don't know, because he's created this transfer deadline bubble, and because of the way he is.
Do you know how you don't need any other clarification whether he spoke to him? Because the club haven't said the word.
Exactly. So, but that's the biggest problem for me. Why is Farhad Moshiri going to?
Actually, thought you said Father Moshiri. Father of the family Moshiri.
I do celebrate him at Christmas. Why is Farhad Moshiri going to Sky Sports when he's got a football club with with a massive media department where he could sit down, do a video? Okay, whatever. Doesn't have to do a video. We could just put it out via the club
statement. Yeah.
And then it's like, and then you hear people say, well, no, the club can't be bowing to the pressure of every time we do. Well, why is he putting statements out in the first place, though? That story would have just gone away. With all the stuff about not answering his phone, that made Sissoko, alright, some people love, the Lad Bible love that kind of stuff, but most people just went, what is it? I mean, I think it was Paul Merson just went, you just don't want to buy a player if that's kind of, you pick up the phone and go, well, Mr. Koeman, thank you for your interest, but I'm choosing to sign for Tottenham. It's over. You don't have to. We being arsed, he chose Tottenham because we all know because they're in the Champions League because of London. We've got no. By putting that statement out, then it suddenly become. Did he really say that? I don't know. Did he? And then it just kept the whole thing rolling. Why did it need to be rolling? Why is the man talking to Jim White in the first place? It was pure Bill.
It was
pure theatre.
But we had the build up to it, didn't we? The what's this space that Jim White got ripped for, because it was like as if you're talking to Moshiri, but obviously he was. But I think I put out what's this space is this year's pleasantly surprised. Didn't think it would be, but it turned out it was, wasn't it?
I think
basically it was, and it was just stupid. I just don't know why.
You seen that annoying kid interviewing him on the Periscope? Whoever they just got someone interviewing him. And Everton, their business is far and all that crap, and you're just going, right, so what Moshiri's done is, the first time he's got the keys to the kingdom, because at Arsenal, he obviously wasn't allowed anything, Jim White's seen as the deadline day fella, and he's like the Father Christmas of deadline day, Santa Bay. He's got all them birds around him, maybe. Yeah. But
I really don't know Santa Claus. You're this goes back to that.
Bad Santa.
This goes back down to your internet history, doesn't it?
Bad Santa.
PS4.
Right, PS4. Right. So he's seen as the man, the go-to man, obviously. So Moshiri, someone around Moshiri, has gone. We'll go through him. Sky will be on. They'll be on to him. Somehow, by hook or by crook, what's happening with you, Europe, blah, 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 and he's acted through him, and what's this space. Now, he said that fully believing that those 3-4 deals would have gone through on deadline day, and then it would have been back to Everton, there's another Vinny O'Connor, he would have been living the dream, and all that. He was only short of a dildo, Vinny, wasn't he, because he had nothing else to do all day. Should have phoned Alan here and all. But, so obviously going, he's felt as though he has to conduct our business through Jim White to play into the theatre of it, but he didn't, because all he done was he just made himself look stupid and complicated a story that was Sissoko chooses Tottenham.
It would have gone away.
Sissoko chose Tottenham.
But the other thing about it is that who's he talking to? Because he's talking to the Sky audience. He's not necessarily talking to the Everton. No, because what our fans are we always say. Everton fans don't believe anything till they see someone wearing a shirt, and then they double check for Photoshop, don't they?
There's a percentage of them.
No, but what I mean is that we have the kind of fans that are just don't bite. So until it's on the official site. You know, it doesn't. It's no, but we do though. We do.
There's always, I think.
You know
yeah,
what,
I think
mate? There's a large percentage who I agree with. I think half of our fan base is like that.
That
They're
cynicism.
really good at that. The cynicism is
Okay.
good, and they should be like that.
Yeah.
If you read Twitter this summer, there's a big
All right.
percentage.
Okay.
Who
Well, let me
believe everything that everybody says.
let me rephrase that then. When he said when that statement went through Sky, it left a big cloud hanging over it.
Yeah.
Whether it was real or not.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
he'd put it through the Everton site, would there be any cloud?
No.
It's done. It's him. It's official.
That's one of the
And
things.
you're talking directly to your fans.
Yeah, but that's what I don't get. You say we've got this massive PR department, which we have. Surely he doesn't do stuff on his own, just like he just sat there going, I'll text Jim White. Surely he speaks to someone who says, well, shall I do this? Surely they run it through a process. Even the owner of the club can't just say stuff.
And he wouldn't have been sitting on his own on transfer
Well,
deadline
that's
day,
what I
would he?
mean, yeah, so
He would have been in the company of other Everton officials because of the way the day was.
Well, the
Because-
statement sounded like something another Everton official would say.
Well, yeah.
So he was
but it did. It
probably
was pure Bill. It was pure theatre.
Well, that's it.
It
So
was
that's
pure
why.
Bill.
So what? So really, that's where that statement's come from. Them two have sat together and gone, right, we'll text Jim White.
Bevy, don't he?
Bevy.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, you text him. Go ahead. No,
On
you
the
text him.
bl-
Go
at
ahead,
the
text
blue
him.
note.
I know what happened. Moshiri went out for a burst.
Left his phone.
Left his phone. And Bill's like, I haven't. First of all, he got Jim White's number.
He's like,
stuck it in his phone.
Jim White.
And then went, lovey.
They had two bottles of Blue Nun, and that was it. They were fuming. But
That's what happened.
it was ridiculous.
On the
But
port.
then all of that,
The port was out with the cheese by then.
all of that, then fed into is Moshiri real? Because
Is Moshiri real?
that's the fallout, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
That
it is-
is the
I've heard. If anyone's seen Iron Man 3,
As he picks the Iron Man couple.
there you go.
product placement.
Iron Man 3, you know, where you've got the thingo.
I've only seen the first one.
Oh, well, in Iron Man 3, they get an actor to play this, like, the baddie.
Right.
So they have this baddie, and then they say, this is the baddie, and it's not. It's a fella called Trevor Slattery, who's actually...
Tony Slattery.
No, it's Trevor Slattery, and he's English in it, and he's Scouse. He's actually a Liverpool fan in the film, which tells you that he is the real baddie, obviously.
Tells you all
Tells
you
you
need to know
don't watch Iron Man 3, that's what it tells me.
Basically, because you actually see a TV with Skirtle score in a goal. And this is in Iron Man 3.
How?
I know. They get into everything,
I
don't
hate
they?
Iron Man
They
3.
get into it. Well, he is
Iron
the
Man
baddie.
3's crap.
But basically, the real bad guy has employed an actor.
Is the real
to be-
bad guy.
to-
The hologram of Bill Shankly.
No.
No.
The real bad guy used to be in Neighbours. So
Iron Man 2 is not a case of life or death. It's far more important.
So the real bad guy employs an actor to be a bad guy to take all the attention away from the bad guy,
reality,
the
yeah.
real bad guy. So maybe that's happened. Maybe Moshiri walked
Misdirection.
in for a part in something. And,
Like
darling,
that fella on the BBC.
I have got a part for you, my love.
On the news.
How would you like to be the biggest shareholder in Everton Football Club?
Right.
Telling you.
This is what I didn't want to because people will take what you're saying as real. Now. They will.
I'm happy for that.
They will.
I think
For me,
I think there's actually worse.
there's been a lot of conspiracies and there's a lot of people asking, not even conspiracy, people just saying, where's actual proof that anything has changed? For me, there's a number of pointers.
Yeah.
It started back with Martinez being given the bullet, because without Moshiri,
Well, yeah.
Martinez would still be managing.
Well, yeah,
Everton.
that's the big one, isn't it? That's the big obvious clue, like. But.
Bringing a relentless pursuit of Ronald Koeman. You know,
In the same
for me,
in the same theatre group.
there you go. In the same WhatsApp group. Ronald Koeman, obviously paying off Billy Bullshitter, getting Ronald Koeman in, paying Southampton and Gonzales and then giving him a massive
Yeah.
contract. Steve Walsh coming in, you know, and then everything else that's gone on.
Stadium
trying to
talks
bring
and all
stadium
these things.
and things. So for me, that is, we are moving forward. Without Farhad Moshiri, things would look a lot different. At
I
Everton,
think-
for me.
I think a big problem is as well, a lot of people assume that we have a right to know what's going on. and how it's going on, and how much is going here and how much is going there. And we haven't.
Well,
it's a business, and you don't get that information. You just got to.
One thing I would say on that, Les, is this whole idea of this new loan they've taken out. You know, which I think it's important to bring up. You know, we've had these loans every year. These sort of, you get them in August, and it's always been seen as like the Sky Money loan. You know, and for years it always seemed like a bad thing, and we took out another one now. And there are people who do really hard work and have done good work trying to find all these things out. And listen, I don't know. What I don't like is the fact that the people they borrow off seems to be a little bit dodgy, and that worries me, all these offshore things. But what seems to have come out of it is that everyone seems to do it, and it's a cash flow thing. And honestly, it's a bad thing just in the terms of maybe taking money. Paying, you know, you're moving more. Gary Barlow's a knobhead. You don't know that. It's that kind of thing, and that doesn't sit well for me as a whole. But I don't think that necessarily means that Everton haven't got any money. I just think that they're especially a man who's a billionaire accountant, has become a billionaire by being a very good accountant. That doesn't happen too often. So he must know what's going on, if he is real, obviously, if he's not an actor. So that I can't really, but that adds up to it, and the fact that we ended the summer in profit.
Yeah,
I want money to be spent. Hand over fist.
It's easy to draw them conclusions, I suppose, isn't it? If you have a mindset where you're thinking something's not right there, you can join the dots, and it adds up to that. We've just got to get on with it. That was a massive gaffe for me. That what he did with the whole Jim White thing. So just don't do that again.
Yeah,
we'll learn from this transfer window. And we'll be run a lot better, I've no doubt about it. It's already looking a lot better.
I mean, moving on. I just want to switch because I want to talk about the whole thing. Do you think the transfer window? I know we've done another video on the transfer, but I want to the handling of the. I think transfer deadline day felt like, to me, it was a mess. It just felt like a lot of people panicking all at once at Everton to try and get things done. And I'm hoping they will learn from that. I'm hoping it'll be streamlined. I'm hoping the right people now will be put in the right jobs to cut through a lot of the nonsense that happened on transfer deadline, and that feeds into the fact that Ronald Koeman didn't come in till, you know, right on the after he's had his 14 holidays, came in right in. Steve Walsh didn't come in till like 4 weeks later, and it did feel like nothing was going to get done in the transfer market till Steve Walsh come in. And then he hasn't been able to do things he wanted to do, so he might have been scrambling around. Do you think there's a case of that?
Yeah, because ideally everything's in place, like you said before, Les, after the final game of the season. That's when you want to move forward. I mean, you know, in an ideal world, we would have appointed Ronald Koeman in the middle of May and gone from there and given him his 4 weeks holiday playing golf, and then got on, you know, with Steve Walsh. So I think, it probably wasn't ideal, but for stuff like we said on the previous video, in terms of transfers, you know, you don't always get what you want, and just because you've got a briefcase full of money ready to spend on players, if clubs don't want to sell those players to you, and clubs might go, we will sell you them, and the players like, you're alright, you know what, I'll do what I want. It's difficult, but it's about planning, and it's about ensuring that this window is a watershed in how we do things for the next one. Deadline day, not the window as a whole, because I think we brought in 4 very good players and one who might turn out to be alright.
Do you think the deadline day thing could have been to play into the whole sort of, it's a massive story, you do all your business on deadline day, you are the big story for the next week,
you're the winner.
If you do it, you know, if we'd have signed someone on the 12th, someone on the 18th, and then got someone on the 29th, it's not a story.
If we'd have bought Stekelenburg and Guy Garner, right, got tremendous player, by the way, and Enna Valencia on August the 24th on loan, right, and then signed Ashley Williams on Balassi deadline day, people would have been going, good sign.
It's a different perception.
So it's just perception. I think, I kind of do buy into that theory with you. I think he wanted to make a splash on deadline day, and I think, don't get me wrong, I think we could have got Gabbiadini in earlier or whatever, we would have, but I think a lot of it, and like you said, it felt as though it was building towards that. Jim White was putting the breadcrumbs down. It's going to be a big, and on that day, if you go bang player, bang player, bang player, bang player, and it's dum 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 like that, it creates this big impact of something's happened.
These mean business.
These are back. Everton are here, and because it turned into a damp squib, people are now looking and going, something's not right here. This isn't right. This isn't that. No, and everyone's got an. My only real problem with it is everyone's got the right to an opinion. Everyone can have their own opinion. People will be cynical because of what's happened in the past. You know what I mean? But the only way it's ever going to be proven is from now going forward. We don't know. We wanted someone to come in with a plan who wanted to take us forward. That was the thing I wanted. You know, other people might have wanted Sheikh Mansour to come in and spunk 500 million.
That, weren't we? It's not necessarily a billionaire, just someone to
take us forward. And this fella's come in with a plan. This, for me, final thing I'm going to say, for me, this was never a one-window job.
No, it's clearly not.
And that was it.
But I think what needs to happen now is like you just said, it's the next window and how he handles it. If you look at different things, there's people saying Moshiri is not happy with certain things about the window. He's not happy with some different people. I believe even Steve Walsh is coming under some criticism, or is coming under some criticism from different things that you read about it. It can't happen again. If there's people in there who for one reason or another botched the transfers up or didn't help, they need to be moved aside, and real business people who can do the job need to be left to do that job. Now, whether that means Moshiri's own man, whose name I can't pronounce, gets the role to do that alongside the manager and Steve Walsh, then so be it. But or maybe he was part of the problem because he was new to the whole thing. It needs to be put right for the next one. Because I can't jump on. There's loads of people, and I've seen them during the window get angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier. Not just on and then deadline day was the cherry on the top where they could say, "This fella's a fraud. Yeah. This fella's not real. He's got no money. His Bill's lackey. Bill's still there. He's not real." Now, I don't know how you can make that judgment off one window. Listen, if we're sitting here, January's one of them. Nothing really happens. It's hard to make. But if we're sitting here next year and the same problems, then I'll say it. I'll say it. You've got to give everyone a chance. Like, you've got to give the manager a chance. You know, you've got to give the owner a chance, and you've got to give. Like when you buy a player, you've got to give him a chance. You've got to say, right, you can't just say you were crap at your last club, you're going to be crappy. You've got to sit there and go, right, let's give you the fair crack of the whip, and then we'll make a judgment after 40 minutes, let's say.
Moved off at half time, definitely.
No, but I think you've got to give everyone a chance. No, any walk of life, no matter this, you've got to give someone a chance, you know, to impress you. And if you come to a period of time, you know, we were sitting here first season with Martin, loving the fella to bits. You know, you look back and I think, oh, did I embarrass myself by loving this fella so much?
Yeah.
But he was good, but when the point came that he wasn't good, then we identified that, and you know, some people identified a lot earlier than others. Some people identified at the right time, and some people still haven't identified it. Belgium. So you know, I think you've got to give him a chance. You've got to give his team that he works with a chance, because I tell you what, a lot of things are happening behind the scenes at Everton. A lot of things have already happened, and things are moving around. And I think, listen, some people won't be happy till Bill's out the club. We know that. You know, we know that for a fact. Now, I don't know what his job is at the club. I really don't. I don't know what he does. Is he still the transfer conductor? I don't know.
I honestly
getting
thought...
Blakey on the buses now, sorry.
I thought he'd be gone this summer. I thought this was it. I thought he'd step away.
To be fair, if I'm gonna put my cards on, I haven't actually got any cards, but if I did, I'll put them on the table. I'd like him and Elston gone, because I just think they remind me of a bad period of Everton where they couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Now they're obviously there for a reason. Maybe it's the changeover period till this guy gets fully in, and he wants someone with more hands-on experience, which this transfer has just proven. Because it had been left to Moshiri and Jim White.
Jim White might have been conductor.
Exactly. So you know, those people might have actually pulled it, saved. I don't know. You could say transfer because there's nothing to save, but you do need that little bit of experience in there, and maybe as we go along, that might change. It mightn't change.
I think,
for all I know, Bill might be absolutely amazing at doing transfers. For all I know,
yeah, we
do you know what I mean?
It's just it's just conjecture, isn't it? Everyone's part.
Listen,
Really.
if his transfers are as good as his blood brothers, it's going to be amazing from now on. His blood brothers is wonderful.
Joseph is
wonderful.
Fabulous player.
Fabulous player.
I just think it's difficult because we're not privy to it, are we? So we don't know. And I think the whole process changes now anyway. I think the more Steve Walsh gets in, gets really into his role and identifying stuff and things going forward with Koeman, that's because let's be honest, he's there for the long term. Walsh, that's what he's there for, to get all the structures in place. So, I think it's a case of learning from. I just think Farhad Moshiri, the club has changed a lot for me in 6 months and a bit, so I think he deserves a little bit more grace than someone just calling him after a transfer window. That's just my opinion.
I think what we're going to have as well, which is going to be equally exciting and frustrating, is the fact he's going to have this marquee signing sort of hanging over him, isn't he? That he still wants to make this marquee signing so he can guarantee leading up to January and right through January until we make that massive signing. It's just going to be constant speculation about who it's going to be. So it is exciting because
what I would say about that though is, it comes back to the argument over James McCarthy. If he's saying James McCarthy wasn't let go and all this for the family, then that makes it sound like he made the decision and the manager didn't make the decision. But on the flip side of that, Joe Hart could have easily been the marquee signing.
Yeah.
And at some clubs, the owner would have walked in and gone, "You're signing him," and that's the bottom of it. He's our marquee signing, and I don't care if you want him.
What?
We're having
him. Happened with City, didn't it?
It happens, doesn't it? It happens at a lot of clubs. And the owner will go, "We need something."
Liverpool, Balotelli.
Yeah.
Exactly. We need something today, or we need something this week, and he's it. He can come and sign for us. He's the marquee signing, and that didn't happen. That did not happen, and it seems like it didn't happen because Ronald Koeman didn't want him.
Instead of that, I reckon he should do some Michael Knight style keep-ups on the pitch.
I'm not sure. I think he'll struggle.
I think
shoes.
I just don't think he wants to get that involved. I just think.
I know, but that's the flip side of that is. The fuck's he tweeting Jim texting him White for then?
No, well, I just think when you look at it's for me. The tweet was a disgrace. Never do it again, unless, like I said, you just say
or get Twitter
in 10 minutes. Watch this space. You know what I mean? That's what you do, Jim. Get your yellow tie out, lad, in 10 minutes, and it really is something happening. But the thing about it is, it comes down to Koeman as well. If he doesn't want certain players, we're not going to get them, no matter how much we bang our feet and stamp our feet and moan. There was money there, it didn't happen. Moshiri has to learn the same way as other people at Everton have to learn from this window, and you'd like to think going forward, now we'll demonstrate it, you'd like to think in the next few weeks there'll be a stadium announcement that's actually means something, not just let's have a vote. It's actual credible, and let's we're having this and work's beginning. When people see the work beginning on the stadium, think that'll be enough for them. You know what I mean? If Farhad Moshiri takes us down the line and then sells us on to someone, as long as he improves us, that's what it boils down to. And like you say, I know people have kind of gone, no, this isn't happening, but he's only driving the bus for me. He's not the fella who's actually telling them where to go. I thought you were going
to say he's driving the bus. He's not the conductor.
Bill.
Well, I think, for me, I just think there'll be other things, because if he wanted to, he could have just sat at Arsenal and creamed the money. He had a big stake in them making him money. Why would he put his reputation on the line to come to Everton? Why?
Not even put a reputation on the line, just create a reputation.
I thought he's created this thing for him. Why? For what reason? Right, doesn't add up.
Well, finally, I just want to, and this is not, you don't have to throw this point around, I just don't want to be one of those clubs like West Ham who get dickhead sons to announce transfers. Do you know what I mean? Fucking dickheads.
And what pictures of them saying we missed out on, we got beat but I've just smashed the princess.
I do not want to be.
After he went out of Europe, he's just tweeted.
I do not want to be those.
Some bird he was just nailed.
Oh my god.
We might have lost, but I've just smashed the princess.
I do not want to be one of those teams that does its business through Sky Sports.
It seems like we will. Well,
I just don't want. I just want him to learn his lesson, and no, I just don't think we as fans appreciate. Maybe some do. I enjoy the openness of that, but I don't want to be one of these clubs that the chairman is leaking all.
I won't believe it until Jim White says so. Basically.
Jim White can just read the statements off our website.
I find it weird that you're looking at Jim White. I was looking at the other one.
I wasn't looking at any, I was in here.
I was in here as well.
Videos, something you were on about. We were out there winning quizzes and penalties and stuff.
And so, anyway, tell us in the comments how you think, you know, Farhad Moshiri conducted his business and this James McCarthy lark, you know, was handled badly. And are you one of those people who's like, yeah, torches, pitchforks up to Goodison, or are you one of those people who's just like, yeah, we'll learn? Oh, can I throw in another thought? Farhad, this is the very last thing, honestly. Do me a favour, Farhad. No, do me a favour. Drive to Goodison, right? And find out who's cladding the outside of Goodison. Honestly, every time I drive past, there's nobody there. It's like a motorway when you see the cones. They've done a bit of it, and it's like, yeah, they can have the week off now, lads. And then finished. Honest to God.
Supposed to be done for the Middlesbrough game.
Every time I go past, there's never anyone doing it. Not anyone there.
If you
just get it done.
Say, if you've gone past the day and there's more, tweet us.
Just get it done. Right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you later.